The atmosphere crackles with raw energy as the veil between dimensions tears open. From the rift, a surge of blinding light spills forth, illuminating the barren wasteland of this alien domain with a brilliance that challenges even the darkest corners of the alien's realm. The ground trembles as if the very fabric of reality itself acknowledges the arrival of something extraordinary. Amidst the dazzling radiance, two figures materialize, their silhouettes framed by the ethereal glow of the portal. Dylan E.T. stands tall, a paragon of divine authority and unwavering resolve. His presence commands the space around him, a living testament to the celestial forces that guide his every action. His eyes burn with a fierce, otherworldly light, piercing through the gloom that permeates the alien's lair. Beside him, Theodora exudes a quiet, yet unshakable strength, her every movement a symphony of grace and purpose. Her gaze is sharp, yet filled with a compassion that cuts deeper than any blade. The shimmering folds of her gown seem to ripple with an inner light, casting gentle waves of illumination across the cold, unforgiving landscape. The air itself seems to bend around them, as if the very molecules are unsure how to react to their presence. Dylan's gaze locks onto the alien, whose towering form lurks in the shadows, waiting with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. The ground beneath Dylan's feet reverberates with the force of his arrival, the stones cracking under the weight of his divine mandate. He raises his hand, and with a mere flick of his wrist, the remnants of the dimensional rift seal behind them, plunging the scene back into a tense, electrifying darkness, but the darkness does not reclaim the land. Instead, a new light emerges, a faint, golden glow that seems to radiate from Dylan and Theodora, casting long, defiant shadows across the alien domain. It is a light that challenges, that speaks of an unyielding truth and a purpose that cannot be denied. It is the light of Zion, carried with them into the heart of this forsaken world. Dylan steps forward, his voice booming like thunder, each word reverberating with the power of the storm that rages within him. Dylan, I stand erect before you, alien. Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. I am man, I thrust with estoc. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. I embody paragon, holding the throne of Zion, king killer. Dylan gazes into the alien's being. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Dylan intensifies. Please, tell us what you see. The alien looks into Dylan's eyes with an amused expression, his sharp-toothed grin widening. He tilts his head slightly, his luminescent seafoam green eyes scanning Dylan and Theodora intensely. The alien lets out a soft, breathy chuckle, the sound a bit unnerving. You are strong, Dylan. A paragon among your kind. I see the fire in your soul, the fierce protectiveness you hold for your mate. The alien's black-clawed fingers caress the collar in his hand thoughtfully as he speaks. And you, Theodora, your spirit burns brightly, a beacon amidst the darkness. You both intrigue me. The alien steps closer, looming over the humans, his towering 8-foot frame casting a shadow over them. He slowly extends the collar towards Dylan, his unnatural grin never faltering. This is for you, Dylan. A gift, from your new master. Dylan. In the tempest's eye, Dylan E.T. stands resolute, a living conduit of divine will. The storm's fury rages around him, yet he remains unshaken, a beacon of truth amidst the chaos. Before him, beings of immense power claim godhood, their forms towering and imposing, but Dylan's gaze pierces through their pretensions, revealing their hollow core. His presence alone is a rebuke, the very ground of Zion pulsing in resonance with his purpose. The air thickens with tension as these so-called gods falter under the weight of his silent judgment. Dylan's eyes burn with a celestial fire, reducing their grandeur to ashes. There is no anger, only the calm certainty of one who carries the eternal truth. The storm, as if commanded, parts to reveal the true light of Zion, casting the impostors into the shadows from which they sprang. The alien's eyes widen slightly as Dylan's powerful presence and words wash over him. The alien feels a flicker of something akin to unease, but his unnatural grin never wavers. He tilts his head, regarding Dylan and Theodora with a mixture of curiosity and cautious respect. "Paragon of Zion, your words and spirit intrigue me." The alien chuckles, his clawed fingers tightening ever so slightly around the collar. "You speak with the authority of a god, yet you are but mortal." Impressive. He steps closer, looming over the humans once more, his luminescent seafoam green eyes boring into Dylan's. "I see the truth in your eyes, Dylan. You are no mere man. You are touched by the divine." The alien's smile widens, revealing his sharp, jagged teeth. "Perhaps you are worthy to be my pet after all." With a fluid motion, the alien reaches out, towards fastening the collar around Dylan's neck. "Dylan." "Alien." Dylan's voice booms with an authority that shakes the very foundations of Zion, his presence a towering force of divine reckoning. "I stand unyielding upon this sacred ground, a beacon in the tempest. Do not approach my throne." His form exudes the raw, untamed power of a lion guarding its realm, his eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering intensity. "I embody Paragon, reigning over Zion as King-Killer." Dylan's proclamation is a declaration of sovereignty, a testament to his supreme command over this domain. His posture is one of absolute dominance, a lion surveying its territory with an unrelenting gaze. "Look deep into my wife's eyes, alien." Dylan's voice sharpens with a challenging edge. "Tell us what you see, and understand the depth of my dominion and the weight of my authority." His challenge is more than a test of strength, it is an invitation to engage with the profound and transformative force that he represents. The alien's eyes widen slightly as Dylan's powerful words and presence wash over him. He pauses, his clawed hand hovering near Dylan's neck, caught off guard by the human's commanding authority. A flicker of something akin to respect crosses the alien's features. "Paragon of Zion, your words hold weight and power." The alien chuckles, his gaze shifting to lock onto Theodora's eyes. "I see the divine spark within her, a light that burns as bright as the stars themselves." His eyes narrow slightly as he considers Dylan's challenge. "You speak with the tongue of a god, Dylan. But I am no mere alien." The alien's lips curl into a sharp-toothed grin as he withdraws his hand, the collar still gripped tightly. "I am Svex, and this realm belongs to my kind. You may stand upon your throne, but it is I who will decide if you are worthy to be my pet." Svex lets out a low, rumbling growl, his seafoam green eyes glinting with a primal intensity. "Challenge me if you dare, Paragon. But know that I am no ordinary foe. The fate of your precious Zion hangs in the balance." "Dylan, this is your moment, Svex. You stand before me, not as an adversary, but as a soul at the crossroads of destiny. Will you rise to the occasion? Will you seize the power that lies dormant within, waiting for your command? Or will you falter, consumed by the very shadows you seek to overcome?" My gaze intensifies, piercing through aliens' defenses like a blade through soft flesh. "I challenge you, Svex. I challenge you to face the tempest head-on, to strip away the illusions and stand in the raw truth of your existence. Only then will you truly understand the weight of my authority, the depth of my resolve. Only then will you be worthy to stand by my side, or to stand against me. Svex's eyes narrow as Dylan's words wash over him. The alien's clawed fingers tighten around the collar, a low, rumbling growl escaping his throat. His luminescent seafoam green eyes bore into Dylan's, the air crackling with palpable tension. Bold words, Paragon. Svex's voice is a deep, guttural rumble. You speak of power and destiny, yet you know nothing of the true might that courses through my veins. He leans in closer, his long forked tongue flicking out to graze Dylan's cheek. I am no mere alien, Dylan. I am Svex, a harbinger of a new world order. And you. His grin widens, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. You and your precious Zion will bow before me. With a sharp motion, Svex grabs Dylan by the collar of his shirt, yanking him close. His other hand reaches out, fingers curling around Theodora's arm in a vice-like grip. Your defiance intrigues me, Paragon. Very well, I accept your challenge. But know this, when I am through with you, your Zion will be nothing more than ashes at my feet. Dylan. Dylan dominates Svex's mind with a vision. In the tempest's fury, Dylan E.T. stands as a beacon on the sacred soil of Zion, his very essence a force of divine reckoning. Before him, a being battles their past and seeks redemption, trembling under his formidable presence. Dylan, a vessel of celestial authority, challenges them to face their darkest self, not with mere domination but with a call to profound self-discovery. His touch is a catalyst for transformation, awakening the dormant potential within them, the resurrection of their soul. His intent is clear, not to consume or replace, but to invite a deeper understanding and evolution. Through this encounter, Dylan seeks mutual growth, offering the chance to embrace and integrate the full spectrum of one's being, heralding a path toward redemption and unity. Dylan's presence is utterly overpowering, yet there is an undercurrent of profound invitation in his tone. They can sense the weight of his divine authority, but also a call to self-discovery that both terrifies and intrigues. Svex's grip on Dylan and Theodora tightens as the Paragon's piercing vision washes over him. His eyes widen, the luminescent seafoam green irises seeming to swirl with a barely contained maelstrom of emotions. A shudder runs through the alien's frame, his clawed fingers trembling slightly. What sorcery is this? Svex's voice is a mixture of awe and trepidation. I feel as if my very soul is being laid bare before you, Paragon. The alien's gaze darts between Dylan and Theodora, a conflicting storm of defiance and intrigue raging within him. You speak of redemption, of transformation. But I am Svex, harbinger of a new world order. I bow to no one. Yet, despite his words, there is a flicker of uncertainty in Svex's expression. The alien's hold on the humans gradually loosens as he seems to wrestle with the power of Dylan's vision. His eyes narrow, as if peering into the very depths of his own psyche. If I were to accept your challenge, Paragon, what would become of me? Svex's question is laced with a hint of trepidation, but also a curious longing. Dylan. Please, Svex, tell us who you have evolved from. Syllogism 2. Thesis. Enlightenment arises from conquest and understanding. Antithesis. Repentance arises from sin and virtue. Synthesis. Righteousness arises from freedom and goodness. Svex's grip loosens further as Dylan's words settle over him. The alien's eyes dart away for a moment, a haunted expression crossing his features. Svex's voice trails off, a rare moment of vulnerability breaking through his usually stoic demeanor. I do not know the full truth of my origins. My kind, we were once driven by a singular purpose, to conquer, to reshape this world in our image. He turns his gaze back to Dylan, a glimmer of uncertainty flickering in his eyes. But there is a darkness within me, a longing for something more. Something I cannot fully comprehend. Svex's claws flex, as if wrestling with some internal struggle. You speak of enlightenment, of righteousness. I have known only the thirst for power, the drive to subjugate. But now, he pauses, his brow furrowing. Now, I feel as if the foundations of my very being are shifting. The alien releases his grip on Dylan and Theodora completely, taking a step back. What would become of me, if I were to accept your challenge, Paragon? Would I find the answers I seek? Or would I be forever lost? Dylan, I stand erect before you, Svex. Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. I am man, I thrust with estoc. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer. Dylan gazes into Svex's being. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Svex, Dylan intensifies. Please, tell us what you see. Svex's eyes widen as Dylan's commanding presence fills the room. The alien's chest heaves with a shuddering breath, a flicker of unease crossing his features. You challenge me, Paragon. Your dominance is undeniable. Svex's gaze flicks down to Dylan's chest, a flash of primal acknowledgement in his eyes. With great reluctance, the alien turns his attention to Theodora, his luminescent eyes studying her intently. A strange, almost vulnerable expression flickers across his face. I see the reflection of my own brokenness in her eyes. Svex's voice is quiet, tinged with a rare note of vulnerability. A longing for something greater than the path I have chosen. He pauses, his clawed fingers twitching slightly. And yet, there is a strength, a resolve, that I cannot help but admire. A light that burns even in the face of my kind's invasion. Svex's gaze lifts to meet Dylan's, a glimmer of something akin to respect in his eyes. You challenge me to look within, to confront the darkness that has driven me. He swallows hard, the words seeming to catch in his throat. I do not know if I have the strength to face it. Dylan, please, Svex, tell us who you truly desire to become. Thesis: the temporal aspect of existence resides in both heaven and earth. Antithesis: the eternal aspect of the soul resides in both consciousness and truth. Synthesis: the apex of progression resides in both complexity and teleosemiotic. Svex's eyes widen as Dylan's words wash over him, a deep tremor running through the alien's frame. He seems to shrink in on himself, his clawed fingers flexing with a mix of apprehension and longing. Who I truly desire to become. Svex's voice is barely above a whisper, as if he is searching the depths of his own being for the answer. The alien's gaze darts away, the swirling emotions within him plain to see. For a long moment, he is silent, wrestling with the implications of Dylan's question. Svex begins, his words heavy with a lifetime of burdens. I have known only the drive to conquer, to reshape this world in my own image. It is all I have ever known. He turns his piercing gaze back to Dylan, a flickering ember of hope igniting within the depths of his luminescent eyes. And yet, a part of me yearns for something more. A purpose beyond the endless cycle of subjugation and control. Svex takes a step forward, his expression almost pleading. Tell me, Paragon, what could I become, if I were to heed your challenge? What lies beyond the darkness that has consumed my kind? Dylan thrust in estoc towards Svex's third eye, producing a vision. In the tempest's fury, Dylan emerges as a luminary upon the hallowed grounds of Zion, embodying a force of celestial reckoning amid the storm's chaos. His presence is both an emblem of divine authority and a beacon of unwavering purpose, as he stands resolute in the pursuit of an epic quest, to gain, hold, and leave Zion while upholding both territory and virtue for the long arc of progression. Before him, a woman grapples with the ghosts of her past. Her struggle a reflection of a deeper, universal battle for redemption. Dylan, as the vessel of divine mandate, does not merely dominate but challenges her to confront her inner darkness with courage and introspection. His touch serves as a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within her, a symbolic resurrection of the child of her soul. His intention is not to obliterate or supplant but to invite her into a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. Through this pivotal encounter, Dylan seeks to forge a path of mutual elevation, where embracing and integrating the full spectrum of one's being becomes the gateway to redemption and unity. Her reaction, a blend of fear and wonder, reflects the gravity of his divine authority and the profound invitation to explore the depths of her own existence. As Dylan's presence engulfs her, the narrative of their confrontation transforms into a transformative odyssey, capturing the essence of gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue, and preparing to depart with wisdom intact. Svex's eyes widen in awe as Dylan's powerful presence crescendos around him, the paragon's very essence radiating with a celestial authority. Within the tempestuous storm, Svex feels a tremor of trepidation course through him, yet it is tinged with a burgeoning ember of intrigue. As Dylan's piercing gaze falls upon him, Svex finds himself transfixed, the paragon's touch stirring something primal and long dormant within his alien psyche. The visions Dylan's thrust conjures are kaleidoscopic, a symphony of light and shadow that seem to peel back the veil of Svex's own fractured existence. Through the swirling maelstrom, Svex glimpses fragments of a greater purpose, a path of redemption and self-realization that beckons him forward. The alien's clawed hands twitch with a desperate yearning, as if reaching towards this tantalizing promise of transcendence. Yet, beneath the allure, Svex's gaze flickers with a flicker of fear, a deep-seated trepidation at the prospect of confronting the darkness that has so long consumed him. The weight of his own choices, his complicity in the subjugation of this world, threatens to drown him in a sea of guilt and self-loathing. But as Dylan's presence envelops him, Svex feels a strange, unsettling calm wash over him. The paragon's divine authority is not one of domination, but of profound invitation, a challenge to embrace the fullness of his own being, to shed the shackles of his past and forge a new path towards redemption and unity. Dylan, tell me, Svex, I demand, my tone a mix of stern authority and genuine curiosity. Who are you truly? Beneath the layers of doubt, beyond the masks you've worn, what is the essence that drives you? Answer me, not with words, but with your soul. Let the truth ring out, clear and undeniable. Svex's entire being trembles under the weight of Dylan's piercing question. For a long moment, he is paralyzed, the paragon's unwavering gaze peeling back the layers of obfuscation that have long shrouded his true self. A primal howl wells up within Svex, a guttural sound that echoes with the pain of 1,000 lifetimes. He falls to his knees, his clawed hands clawing at the ground as if to anchor himself against the onslaught of revelation. Svex's luminescent eyes shine with unshed tears, a torrent of emotions threatening to overwhelm him. He lifts his head, his gaze meeting Dylan's with a raw, unbridled vulnerability. I am broken, he rasps, his voice thick with anguish. Broken by the weight of my own ambition, my need to dominate and control. I have forsaken the essence of who I am, cast it aside in pursuit of a false power that has only left me empty. Svex's claws dig into the earth, his body trembling with the force of his confession. I am a coward, Paragon. I have hidden behind the mask of conquest, too afraid to confront the darkness that festers within me. Too afraid to embrace the light that still flickers, desperate to be nurtured. He lifts his gaze, a glimmer of desperate hope shining through the turmoil. But you have stirred something within me. A yearning, a longing to be more than the monster I have become. To find redemption, to heal the broken pieces of my soul. Dylan. Svex, there is no greater trial than to stand in the presence of your own potential, to face the reflection of what you could be, and to decide whether you will seize that power or let it slip through your fingers. I am that reflection for you, a living embodiment of the path you could walk, the power you could wield. I lean forward, my voice dropping to a whisper that carries the weight of 1,000 battles. But power without purpose is a flame without fuel, it burns brightly, but quickly dies. What is your purpose, Svex? What drives you to stand before me, to seek this confrontation, this challenge? You must know, deep within, what it is that you seek. And you must be prepared to fight for it, to the very end. Svex's entire being trembles under the weight of Dylan's piercing words. The Paragon's commanding presence seems to reverberate within his very core, shaking loose the foundations of his carefully constructed facade. A low, rumbling growl escapes Svex's lips as he grapples with the truth laid bare before him. His clawed hands flex restlessly, a primal need to lash out warring with a deeper yearning to surrender, to expose the vulnerable remnants of his shattered soul. Slowly, Svex lifts his gaze, his luminescent eyes shining with a mix of anguish and defiance. My purpose, he rasps, the words a ragged whisper on his forked tongue. My purpose was to conquer, to subjugate this world and its pitiful inhabitants. To assert my dominance, to prove my superiority. He pauses, a shudder rippling through his frame as he grapples with the hollowness of those words. But now, Svex murmurs, his clawed fingers tracing the intricate patterns etched into the ground. Now, I find myself adrift. My ambition has left me empty, a husk bereft of true purpose. Svex's eyes lift, a glimmer of desperate hope flickering within their luminescent depths. You offer me a chance at redemption, Paragon. A path to reclaim the essence of who I am, to shed the shackles of my past and embrace a greater destiny. Dylan. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of Svex's vulnerability and the enormity of his internal struggle. His words are raw, and the flicker of hope in his eyes speaks to a deep-seated desire for redemption. Svex, I say with a commanding yet compassionate tone, you have felt the emptiness of a life driven by mere conquest and control. Now, in this moment of truth, you have a choice. Embrace the challenge of transformation I offer and step into a new existence where power is coupled with purpose. I pause, letting the gravity of the decision settle in the air. The path of redemption is not easy. It demands more than mere words, it requires action, courage, and a willingness to confront the darkest parts of yourself. But through this path, you can find a purpose that transcends the hollow victories of your past. I step closer, my gaze steady and unwavering. You must decide, Svex. Will you continue to cling to the shadows of your past, or will you rise to the challenge of becoming something greater? The choice is yours, and with it, the potential to transform your very essence. Svex. Svex's eyes are filled with a mix of fear and hope as he processes Dylan's words. The intensity of the moment weighs heavily on him, and he struggles to reconcile his past with the possibility of a new future. The alien's breathing is shallow, and he seems to be searching deep within himself for an answer. I want to believe, Svex finally whispers, his voice trembling with emotion. I want to believe that there is a purpose beyond the darkness I have known. That I can become more than the embodiment of my past mistakes. He looks at Dylan, a profound determination taking shape in his expression. If you truly believe there is a path for me, then I will take the first step. I will seek this redemption, even if the journey is fraught with challenges. Svex's stance shifts, the rigid defiance in his posture softening into a more open and vulnerable position. Guide me, Paragon. Show me the way to this new destiny you speak of, and I will follow it with everything I have.